The third week of the IPL is underway, and with 23 matches played, it's the Rajasthan Royals who are leading the points table. Chennai's win over Kolkata on Monday means that the Royals are the only team with a 100% record in the tournament. To discuss that run, I am delighted to be joined from Jaipur by the assistant coach as well as the bowling coach of the Royals, Shane Bond. Shane, are you happy to be coaching now, considering how 270 odd is being scored in 20 overs?
Well, it's not scored against our team, so it's not so bad, is it? Look, it's of course, I love the job. It's the challenge of the job is to try and stop some of these big batting lineups, scoring a lot of runs, especially with the impact sub rule. So I think that makes it more interesting, has been more interesting for me in particular. A little bit more work to do when you're doing your bowlers meetings, but it's all good.
Now, Shane, the Royals have always had that fairy tale aura around them, and it's also because of the late Shane Warne and his team in 2008. Is this already starting to feel like 2008 again? That team won 5 in a row and then 6 in a row. Your boys could make it 5 in a row against Gujarat today.
Oh, I probably can't comment on a team that was 15 years ago and what it was like. And again, in a competition like the IPL, you can't get too far ahead of yourself. I think last year RR might have won 4 of their first 5 or 5 of their first 6 and missed out on the playoffs. So, yeah, it's always nice with the pressure of the competition to have more wins and losses, and we're sitting in a great position. But we also know every team you come up against is more than capable of tipping you over. So we just have to make sure we prepare well and go out, and that there's sort of that magical figure of sort of around 8 wins to get into the playoffs and perhaps 9 to finish in the top 2. So yeah, hopefully we can get another win tomorrow, and then it just puts pressure on other teams trying to chase us, which is always nice.
Okay, you say you need 8 wins, 4 are already done. Now, one can look at the points table and you would think that the Royals are cruising, but it's also come down to key moments in games. Sanju Samson in that first game, Riyan Parag against Delhi and Mumbai, Ashwin with the bat, and of course, Joss Butler's century last time in a tricky chase. I'm not mentioning the bowlers here, so don't think I'm favouring the batters.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's a collective effort, isn't it? You need both sides of your game playing well, and we have played well. We've made improvements playing at home from last year. We really struggled here. This year we've won our first 3 games at home. We talked a lot about that in the pre-season, about how we were going to win here, what that looked like, and the way that we wanted to play. And a credit to the boys, they've made really good adjustments, particularly with those players you were talking about with the bat. And we've got runs on the board, whether it be defending or setting targets that have enabled us to win matches. So we're really happy with the way that we're playing. We've tried to keep things pretty simple, really clear about the way we want to play. And I think we know that if we play near our potential, having 7 very good batters and 5 proper frontline bowlers, that we're always going to be difficult to beat. So really, really pleased with the way the boys are playing so far, and hopefully we can keep it going.
Also, experience is key in these tough conditions. It's been pretty hot. We can see that when the players are on the field. The Royals have used just 5 to 6 bowlers per match. Do you trust the established pros like Trent Bolt, Yuzvendra Chahal and Ashwin to figure out solutions when someone like Virat Kohli goes after them? Or do you also send in notes when the match is on?
It's a combination of stuff. Look, you're all good players are always going to get runs at some point in time against you. It's still trying to make it as hard as they possibly can. To get the scores like you talked about earlier, those 270s where you're blown out of the water. So now we had a guy got 110 off 70 balls in the last match, and we only got 3 wickets, yet they only got 180 runs. So we felt like we were more than in the game. So look, we have our set plans for what we want to do and how we want to go about stopping players, getting them out. Doesn't always work, but what we do talk about a lot is making it as hard as we possibly can for teams to score runs against us. And regardless of the wickets, if we do that, we give ourselves a chance to chase runs down. Or if if we're defending than to get the runs. So that's what we've done really well so far. We understood that Kohli was playing well in the last game. We made it really tough for the guys who were in and around him to score. He still scored one of the slowest IPL hundreds, so we made it hard for him as well. So yeah, that's those strategies and communication from myself and Sangha to the bowlers. The other players, the senior players like Joss, in and around Sanju, they're really important and things that we're doing well at the moment.
As someone who bowled pretty fast, we all still remember how fast you were. How impressed are you, Shane, with the way Nandre Berger has been bowling the South African?
Yeah, he's been great, mate. So, obviously reasonably inexperienced in terms internationally and playing in India. But he's had a big impact for us so far. I think there's still improvements to be made. But he's picked up wickets and been a really nice combination with Trent Boult. I think you've seen Nandre play well and perhaps Trent not so much and vice versa. They're both very different bowlers. So it adds a nice balance to our team when you've got, obviously guys like swing the ball. We've got our two great spinners. Then you've got that extra pace to come in through the middle, particularly where he's done really well, has been good for us. So it's nice to have a balance of skill sets, balance of personalities in your team. And he's certainly been an asset for us so far.
You talk about balance, but you've also had to rework plans with Prasidha Krishna and Adam Zampa withdrawing from the tournament before it even began. But your core of experienced players, the ones you were mentioning, Bolt, Chahal, Ashwin, they seem to have shouldered the burden pretty well.
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah, I think losing Prasid was a big one. A local quality seamer. But really happy, I suppose that was part of the Abish Khan trade, was to perhaps play both of them and give us options with three overseas batsmen. And we've still been able to do that with the impact sub rule. Abish has been really good for us so far as well, bowled some critical overs. So, and Sandeep Sharma in the first couple of games is awesome as well. So Navdeep Saini's back with us now. We've still got Kuldeep Sen. So we've got good depth in our local fast bowling stocks. And obviously with Adam not being part of this campaign's a disappointment, but look, we've got Kesh Maharaj who's gone as well. So we feel like our spin department's one of our real strengths, particularly with Yuzi and Ash bowling so well for us, and Kesh obviously sitting there to add to that as well. So there's heaps of experience. It's really important to have your experienced players, particularly in the bowling lineup. You come under a lot of pressure, especially on grounds with small boundaries and the quality of the batting lineup. So to be able to have that composure and experience to lean on is really important. And I think that's been certainly a big factor for us so far.
Now, I want to ask you a specific question from the coaching perspective. Now, during an IPL campaign, how do coaches keep the motivation levels up? There's a lot of travelling. Some players are in form. Some may not be getting runs or taking wickets as per expectations. So how do you sort of keep everyone on the sort of same level?
It's probably one thing you shouldn't have to coach is motivation when you're playing in this tournament. It's the biggest tournament in the world. You're playing the best players. It's an IPL big option next year. There's World Cup position. So if you're coaching motivation, then the player's not going to be around this competition for long. The bigger challenge for us is rest. Just making sure that the player finds that right balance between training and rest, and consistency in the stuff that we do. So yeah, I never really have to feel like you coach motivation. Here it's like you're trying to find those little improvements individually and as a team that will get you firstly into the playoffs and then to win the tournament. So that's the fun part of coaching. You're dealing with some great players here, but you're still trying to eke out every bit of talent and skill out of them at the same time. So that's the part that I really enjoy with the coaching.
Okay, you've had a dream start. Now, do you reassess team goals and targets phase-wise, or is it just match by match?
Yeah, as I said, 4 from 4, it's a great start, but we haven't won anything. We've just won 4 games. So we've still got to win another 4 at least to get into the playoffs. Plenty of years at Mumbai, we were on the other side of things. We were at 0-4 and 1-5, and I think 0-8 one season. So certainly understand though the pressures of that and how quickly a tournament can swing. 2 more wins, yep, things looking really good, but 2 losses and you're back with the pack and under pressure again. So as I said, we've got a very good team we're playing tomorrow. We've just got to take care of them, and then then at the back half of the tournament we've got the challenge of playing on the road pretty consistently. So that's something else that's going to be a little bit more of a challenge for us, turning up in different conditions every day. So as I said, it's been nice to have a bunch of games in Jaipur and been playing well. I think we've got this one here against GT, and then we've got Mumbai in a week or so's time. It'd be great to walk out of here with 5 wins. That'd be sensational. But either way, we've certainly done better than last year.
Is this grueling schedule, the travelling, that's all part of the lure of the IPL? I want to ask you, how do coaches relax? Some of your players have been taking in the sights and sounds of Jaipur. We've seen those posts on social media. But what about an old India hand like you?
It's pretty busy. So look, bit of TV. Most of and the players are the same. You're watching mini series or series on TV to kill the time. To be fair, it's pretty busy in the day. You sort of get an hour or two here or there to have some downtime, and often in that time you're speaking to people back at home anyway. And then by the time you get back from training at night, it's sort of 9, 10 o'clock. It's almost you're doing the same the other way. You're maybe watching a little bit of TV, and then it's time to hit the hay. So yeah, there's not a lot of time for sightseeing. We've got some gaps coming up. I've got my family coming over, and so do a number of the staff and players. And with bigger gaps in the schedule, we've got a couple of days off here and there where get the chance to go out and do that. So it's always nice if you can go out and see a little bit more of the local sites. Haven't had so much time so far, but hoping to do a little bit more of that in the coming weeks.
Okay, TV and lots of serials and OTT content, but Gujarat are your next opponents. They haven't been having a great time of late, Shane. They've lost 2 straight. Does that make them dangerous?
The results are almost irrelevant coming into the game. Every team here is dangerous. They present different challenges. Obviously, with like Rashid and Noor Ahmed present a different challenge to our team than RCB did. So look, we just have to do our due respect to them. They've been finalists for 2 years in a row. There's a reason why, because they're a really good team. They look slightly different than the last couple of years, but there's always class players through the lineup. So yeah, we're about to sit down and go through all our prep for them, work out how we think we're going to beat them, sort of intertwined with how we're playing at home. And then the boys just got to turn up and bring the right attitude and be switched on. And if we do that, then we know we're going to be pretty hard to beat.
Okay, 23 matches done in this IPL so far. We're approaching the midway stage in perhaps a week. What's your assessment, Shane, of where teams are this IPL? Who are the teams you believe will pose a direct threat to the Royals winning a second title?
Yeah, as I said, it's pretty early to comment. Everyone, we haven't really talked a lot about what everyone else is doing. The biggest challenge is yourself, really, is if you can manage your own expectations and what you're doing, getting into that fours, the first goal, then into hopefully the first 2, so that you get a second shot at it. And whoever else falls in there, it doesn't matter who they are, they're going to be good. So as I said, the pack's pretty tight at the moment. Teams at the bottom only have to win a couple of games, and they're back in the running with everybody else. And that's what makes it an interesting competition to watch every night when everyone else is playing. So case in point, the game tonight, I think SRH and Kings, one goes to 2 and 3 and the other 3 and 2. It does feel a lot different. Those sort of games where teams are on even points. And the beauty for us, if we keep winning, is other teams hopefully keep beating each other up and sort of fall a few games behind us, which would be nice. So yeah, that's why I think even though we're 4-0, it's another really important game for us tomorrow. It would give us a jump on the rest of the pack, but obviously then we play a team like KKR. That's not too far away, who are right behind us as well. So, yeah, it's always good and exciting teams to look forward to.
My final question to you, Shane, you've observed Rajasthan from across the aisle when you were with the Mumbai Indians. Now that you're part of the Royals setup, how do you think this team has evolved over the past few years? They were finalists in 2022. They just missed out in 2023, and they're leading the pack right now.
Look, again, I can't comment on what it's been like. Just watching from afar, thought they had a really good auction, but in the last big auction, bought a really strong and experienced side. I think that carried them through to the last year, the final couple of years ago. They're one of the standout sides. I think there's been real consistency through the squad. But again, the team was pretty similar last year, and they missed out on the playoffs. And that's what can happen. You have some players who don't quite reach the heights that you want to. You lose a couple of games that perhaps you should win, and that's the difference between a playoff position and not. And that was no different at Mumbai. There was a number of seasons where we finished fifth because we lost the odd close game here or there. That was the difference. So, look, we know we've got the capability to win the tournament, but a lot of things have got to go right. You got to keep players fit. You got to hope your best players play well. You hope you win the tight games, and then once you get to the playoffs, it sort of all starts again. So, yeah, one of the big reliefs is sort of getting to that playoff mark. It's sort of stressful till you get there. That's why when you've won the first four, it takes a little bit of the pressure off. And hopefully, as I said, the quicker you get there, the more it puts sort of more pressure on everybody else as well, and you can sort of play. Not saying you can take it easy, but you can play a little bit more relaxed, which is always nice. So, yeah, we're probably 4 wins out of 10 away, perhaps, from getting there if we keep our run rate intact. And yeah, you're close enough you can sort of see it, but a lot of hard work to go before we get there.
And I saw you smiling a lot when you were answering that question. So clearly the stress levels aren't there, especially in the Rajasthan Royals. Well, it happens, you won 4 in a row, so why should you be stressed? On that note, Shane, thank you for your time. The Royals have been playing some great cricket, so keep entertaining us over the next month and a half.
No problems. Try to.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.